And DJ does not have a small deck.
Casino trip, full of chips, wanna flip, double it.
Welcome to the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you'll never lose, where the stakes are high, the takes are bold, and the conversations are always full of chips. With your hosts, Chris, the Dice Degen, and Craig from Old Bay Craps. You're tuned in to Full of Chips, the podcast where we dive into our own experiences into the world of gambling and share stories straight from the casino floor. Whether you're a recreational gambler, a seasoned pro, or just curious what the buzz is all about, you're in the right place. Each week, we break down the games, talk to the experts, and bring you tips that could tilt the odds in your favor. So grab your lucky charm, stack your chips, and let's roll into today's episode.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 46 of the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you will never lose, with your hosts, Chris the Dice Degen and Craig from Old Bay Craps. Craig, how the hell are we today?
I think we've decided that we're both exhausted for different reasons. If you want to go into why you're exhausted, great. I am exhausted. I just not sleeping, man. Just not sleeping, and I don't like it. There's something between 9 p.m. and midnight where there's like a recharge around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then you're up till 1. I don't get it. And it's like, why do I keep forcing myself to sit there and watch TV until I pass out? Like just call it a day at 11 o'clock and just go upstairs.
I can
But I don't.
totally sympathize with that, because I am the same way where, like, it's funny. Mrs. DJ gets mad at me sometimes because it's like 9 o'clock and I'm like half asleep on the couch watching TV or whatever.
Right.
But then next thing I know, it's 10:30 and I'm wide awake. She's like, all right, let's go to bed. You've been, sleeping practically here on the couch. I'm like, I'm not sleeping. I was awake. I know exactly what happened on your TV show. But then, like, I go up to bed and then I'm sitting on my phone for 2 hours because I'm not tired at all. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know.
That's the one thing I don't do, because as soon as I go up to bed and I take the watch off and I take the phone and I have that stand that holds it all, and it's like, it's across the room from where I sleep. So once I'm in bed, there are no electronics around me. So I don't find it hard, and I'm hard to sleep. I'm the kind of person that you can have a jackhammer next to my head, and if I'm tired, I'll knock out.
See,
Facts.
I guess that's good for you, not good for me. Because I have one of those, wireless chargers next to the bed, but it's next to the bed. But I'm one of the people, I can't fall asleep if I don't have my phone. Like, I need to be doing I need the phone in front of me or like TV on. And I know it's terrible for you. I know you're not supposed to do it. I know it screws with your, I don't know, whatever. It screws with something. And, I can't fall asleep though. Like, in a quiet room to fall asleep, I feel like I'm in an insane asylum. I cannot do it.
No, if it's, well, I mean, again, if I'm tired, I will knock out in seconds. Here's the thing. You mentioned earlier about being, 10:30 and wide awake. So it is that little spark between 10:30 and 11 where you get that like extra, that final kick of energy. But then it's like, I'll fight myself from going upstairs, and I will literally, Chris, grab 2 pillows across from the couch and lay on my side and watch TV, like that was going to do anything for me other than just knock my ass out in seconds. And then I wake up, and what time is it? 2:30 in the morning.
Well, apparently Craig and I have very, very similar sleeping habits. It's probably not for the best, but yeah, no, I can sympathize with that. Yeah, I'm tired because I have been playing around with my deck for the past week practically, because we had a big groundhog problem. And we've had a problem for a couple of years, but finally, none of the stuff we tried worked. None of the stuff, people told me to do worked. So I ripped apart my entire deck this past weekend. And DJ does not have a small deck. DJ's deck is quite large. Took apart the whole deck. It's like 50 foot wide by like 20 feet in depth or length, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, whatever, don't matter. And dug, a big trench around it, put this big fencing in, this mesh and all this stuff, and then filled it all back in, put the deck back on. So I've been in a lot of pain. My lower back is just screaming at me. My legs have been screaming at me. And hopefully the groundhogs will not be screaming at me anymore, because those things dug some massive holes. I sent pictures to Craig, right near the foundation of my house, and they could do some damage, those things. Like, their tunnel systems are insane. There are no tunnel systems under the deck anymore. They're gone.
I knew you liked Caddyshack, but Jesus, that's a lot.
Well, you see, it was funny because one of my neighbors goes, "Why don't you just blow it up?" I was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Let me throw some dynamite next to the foundation of my house. That's genius." And then he goes, "Oh, I didn't realize they were next to your house." I was like, "Yes." Believe me, if I could have Caddyshacked that, I would have. I have Caddyshacked other groundhog passageways in the yard, or like we had some trees that they had a couple little burrows near. Those did get blown up, but those are not near my house, so I was not stressed about that. I can't imagine putting some dynamite next to the foundation, see what happens.
God. Oh my God,
That's living dangerously.
You ain't kidding.
You ain't kidding, is right. But why I'm tired is that reason. And what am I doing about it, Craig? Well, I'm drinking. And
well, why not?
Why not? But I don't have the Full of Chips mug today, or the glass today, because I have coffee in here. Obviously, it's not just coffee. There is some whiskey and some Irish cream in here as well. So I have basically an Irish coffee, but I needed something to kick me in the ass today before I hopped on here and started talking to you and to all the folks at home.
I love it. I love it. You know what? I got your back.
Yes.
I got your back. There we go. Thank you, Lou. And in here, bullet bourbon, a little bit of Diet Coke. Went back to the Diet Coke.
There you go. Back to Diet Coke. You know, there's no soda, in my opinion, better than like a nice crisp cold Diet Coke. Now we've gone into the fact that I can't drink regular soda on this podcast before, but I've tried many sodas in my day. Obviously, I've tried regular in the past, but like I always try to mix it up sometimes with some other like diet, or something zero, whatever it may be, because I can actually drink those. They just don't do it for me. Like an ice cold Diet Coke just hits. I don't know what it is.
Ice cold's the way to go, but you may have seen my micro expression change in my face when you said the word crisp. And I got to tell you, your generation has ruined something, and I can't believe I'm bringing it out, but now my wife is saying it. What the fuck is with a crispy Coke? That is the dumbest phrase I've ever fucking heard when it comes to a fucking ice cold Coke. Just fucking say ice cold Coke. It's been ice cold fucking Coke for like 50, 60 fucking years. What the hell is a crispy Coke? That doesn't even make fucking sense. Chris, explain it to me.
I can't explain it, but I'm guilty of saying it. I just said it. But now you're making me want to go to the refrigerator and get a can of Diet Coke, crack that shit on the pot, and be like, nice and crispy.
Look, bacon can be crispy, okay? Not
bacon
Coke.
can be crispy. Bacon can be crispy. Yeah, we were talking about that in the green room for the folks at home, how we like to cook our bacon. I don't know. I try it a lot of different ways, but I think my oven method is good. I will have to give the air fryer a try, like you were talking about, but I don't know. The oven method for me is what it is. But yeah, you can have a crispy bacon and apparently crispy Diet Coke. But you know what the funny part is? There's no other soda that's crispy. It's just Diet Coke. Like, no one ever says I'm having a crispy Sprite.
No, because nobody
drinks
Sprite
crispy
anymore.
Diet Coke.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. She told we were talking the other night about. I was like, what are you in the mood for? Like Wawa or some. She's like, I need a crispy Coke. I'm like, what the hell's a crispy? Like, am I missing something in the menu? Is there something on the menu that makes it a crispy Coke? Yep. Because when she said it was just the ice and it's cold, I'm like, yeah, it's called ice cold. It's called ice. But since we're talking about ovens and crispy and things that are hot, right? You ever watch a crafts table go hot and suddenly everyone around you forgets they're an adult with responsibilities?
Yeah.
People screaming, chips flying, a guy who hasn't smiled since 2009 suddenly acting like he's a kid at graduation. I think we're talking about what actually happens, in your brain during a hot roll, or what I like to call the moment your common sense packs a bag and leaves. But let's break it down, Chris. Let's break down why we lose our minds when the table heats up.
It's a good Good analogy that you made there. You just go crazy. Like, I feel like to me, it's like spring break. It's like, wow. It's like first time you get let out of the house and like you don't know how to act. But no, it's funny because like everybody does, and people can tell me that they don't, and I'm gonna tell you you're a liar. The most disciplined people I know get a little nuts when table starts really heating up. Now, they won't get as crazy as other folks because some people are like ready to streak around the casino shirtless because, table's heating up a little bit. Like you were saying though, right? It's people just, they forget how to bet. They forget how to act. They don't know how to do anything. Especially people who are on the table the entire time, still have like a fear of missing out a lot of the time. I feel like they're 30, 40 rolls in and they're still having FOMO about a bet they could have placed or they should have placed. It's like, well, first of all, why wasn't the bet placed, right? And don't tell me,
Right.
oh, I didn't have a 5 and they hadn't rolled a 5 in 25 rolls. Like, all right, shut up, stop with that. But, like, we talk about it all the time. Somebody gets, 5, 6 sixes and you're sitting there without a 6. Well, that's on you. You should have bet that already. But you can't have FOMO when you're still making money on those kind of long rolls, and they're afraid of missing that next big hit. Just be grateful and keep betting the way you're betting, or press a little bit, or do whatever you're going to do, that you're on the table for that roll and you should be making a good amount of money.
Well, the hot roll, some people deem it as, oh shit, something special's happening, right? And we've talked about that dopamine effect before, like the chemical in your brain that just makes things like something's happening here. Like a shooter hits 1 point, and you're like, oh wow, okay, we're doing great, keep going. Shooter hits another point and another. You're like, well, this might be destiny. Like, don't question it, just keep betting. And then like shooter hits 8 points in a row, and you're like, okay, basically this guy's a financial genius and early retirement is calling my bets. I need to jump on it. But as we've seen, it's a mirage because a lot of people have come out of hot rolls not making shit. I am fucking proof. Tropicana. First time I met Jeff, 49 roller. I made $300, Chris. $300 on 49 roller. 49 roller, Chris. $300. Like Jeff here, who I hit the ATS. I wasn't on it. So Jeff made that money. Plus, I think Jeff probably made another $2,000 off that roll.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens all the time. I don't know what it is about the hot roll that for some people, and maybe it's people who are not just disciplined, but maybe people who have the experience, of the years of playing, who know what they want to do with their bets when they can feel that hot roll is here. And they're like, okay, I know exactly how I'm going to progress. And then there's other people who hot roll happens and they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And it's like they're collecting and collecting, but they're not pressing anything. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? We just had 6 8s in a row. Why is your 8 at 18 still? Like, what are you doing? You're collecting 21, 21, 21. Dude, you could have had it up to 240 by now.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? But I'm sure you've seen that.
I've seen it. And I think an interesting piece of this too is like, yes, the table's heating up, right? And on a good roll, the table's definitely hot. But I don't understand what the concept in people's brains is that the table heated up for one shooter had a good roll, and it's going to stay that way. Right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people, and a perfect example, when I was just in Atlantic City not too long ago, I was standing by the craps table, watching what was happening, deciding if I wanted to play or not. And this guy was having a good roll. It wasn't a crazy long roll or anything, but he was having a good roll, and he was hammering the insides. And before that, I was assuming the table was pretty bad because the chip racks were quite small. Yeah. Right. And there was a few players there that I know, and I know what they buy in for typically, and I know how they play. So when I saw their racks less than even and down about 50%, I was like, the table's got to be bad. But there was this one guy who was betting fine. He made money on the decent roll, but then he started even getting more aggressive on the subsequent shooters. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, whoa, what are we doing here? Like, yes, you had a good roll, and I know people's mindset sometimes is like, well, I got to take advantage. Well, why didn't you take advantage of the good roll that you just had instead of now you're going to try to catch the next good roll? Well, guess what happened? I'm sure you can finish the story for me. But
well, I think what we can say is that you probably could turn to the person and say, the dice are literally cubes, right? Like, calm down, dude. Like
Yeah.
this hot roll happened. It might be a while till it happens again. You
Yeah.
know,
And
we've said before the Lou Ted incident that happened. Well, I don't know if it was this year or last year. The back-to-back ATSs.
mhm.
Dude, that has never happened in my whole entire 4.5 year experience other than that. And I wasn't there for that, but I mean, just to hear about that, that is the first time I've ever heard of two people going back to back with ATSs.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people who have gone to trips and, you know, Brownwater Bash and things like that who may have heard back to back or even been on tables where there were back to back bonuses and stuff hit, but people go nuts, dude.
They do.
Some people, I guess the casual player, the player who's probably a regular, you know, on a Friday, Saturday night, who literally just feeds the casino and then goes home and comes back the next week and feeds the casino again. Like when there's a hot roll, they don't know they don't know how to control themselves. Like they're all of a sudden they're fucking chanting to people at the table, you know, the shooter, don't change the dice set. Don't nobody say the S word, you know. Don't breathe, don't blink. Keep
Yeah.
it going. Do the same thing you did before, you know. Because I'm sure you've been on a roll where somebody was on a long roll and then changed dice set, and that's when they sevened out.
Oh
And
yeah.
then and then instead of like congratulating the guy for having a 50 roller, people are getting on his shit for changing his dice set. Like you're shitting on him because he stopped the momentum that happened and the roll is over. But he may have been trying to hit the ATS. You know, yeah, I don't know. You know,
Who
he may have been
knows?
trying to do something specific, and maybe it's worked for him in the past,
Yeah.
but it didn't work that time. But people go nuts.
Or maybe he is a practice dice shooter and he saw some warning signs with a specific set and he was changing off that because of the warning signs. You
Yeah.
know, you got to know those things if you're going to shoot. But I think one of the main things that happens a lot too with people who are, you know, on those hot rolls is I think greed takes over. And
Oh,
that's
for
ultimately
sure.
their worst undoing, honestly. Like, yes, you can make a lot of money, but how many people actually color up after a really good roll? Not many. Why? Because they want to keep betting because they think, oh, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. It probably won't, right? Like, the chances of, you know, a 40, 50 roller happening and then another one right back, or hell, even a 20 roller right after that, probably slim. Now, have we seen it before? Of course. But you got to be on the table, there to take advantage of it. But you can't anticipate the hot roll before it actually happens. You have to play your way, your style of play, and be ready to take advantage of a roll that is going well instead of trying to anticipate what's going to be a good roll or what's going to be a bad roll. If you want to play the anticipation game, you might as well anticipate that every roll is going to be a bad roll because I can tell you you'll be a lot more successful because there's more bad rolls than good rolls.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting that it's like they changed their personality almost on a hot
Mm-hmm.
roll.
Yep.
You know, because it basically becomes like a pop cult with excessive lighting. You know, one person cheers, you cheer. 10 people cheer, you ascend spiritually. The whole
Yeah,
table erupts and you're ready to follow the shooter into battle and bet way crazier than you normally bet. And a lot of times it can get you in trouble. You know, but there are times, and, you know, we've heard famously about that 108 roller at Harrah's, and it was ridiculous what was happening. And basically, at that point, people who knew how to bet were taking advantage of every single possible bet that could be made on the table and leaving nothing left out of it. You know, they're doing every bet, come bet with odds. They're doing put bets if they can. You know, they're
mm-hmm.
doing pass line bet. You know, they're doing every single bet where they can max out. And they both colored up 250K. I think they did pretty well for themselves, you know.
For sure.
But if you're on that hot table, you know, we say you have to have a plan going into the casino. Do people actually, they probably don't think of planning like, all right, I need to know what I'm going to do if there's a hot roll. And you never know when that hot roll is going to be.
Nope.
You know, even a 25, 30 roller is a mediumly hot roll. It feels pretty good. And you probably have a lot of repeaters, right? You know, but if you don't have a plan of what you're going to do when lightning strikes, you're not going to make out the way you thought you were going to. You're
Yep.
you're 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 going to end up like I was making $300 on a $300 bankroll and you should have walked away with $3,000, not 300. You
Yep.
know.
I mean, I think you made a good point there with the plan of what's going to happen if you do catch a hot roll. Like, I'll be honest, I don't think about it. Why? I don't see a need for me to think about it, not because it's not important to think about. My thing is, I view every roll as I'm putting myself in a position that hopefully I'll make some money if it's short. And if it's long, I'm in a good place to maximize where I can go from there, right? Adam's hot roll. I was down going into it. If I was up going into it, like we said on the podcast with Jen, I would have made a lot more money. Why? Because I would have been pressing how I normally press instead of collecting as I was at the time. And I think this is also where, like, we talked about, the gambler's toolkits and all this kind of stuff with the debrief is important. You need to reflect on that kind of stuff. And was I mad that I made a good amount of money? Obviously not. Was I a little disappointed in myself for the fact that I could have made a hell of a lot more money? Sure. But I think too many people are sitting there waiting for that hot roll with no plan, as opposed to putting themselves in a position to take advantage of it when it does come. Because, I mean, how many times do you sit there and see people just, same bet, whatever, doing who knows what. Then, the roll starts going a little bit longer. Then you see the prop section getting splashed, horn this, hard ways, whatever. And you're just sitting there and I'm like, are you trying to take advantage of a hot roll, or are you just trying to catch every number now? Because that's what it seems like you're trying to do. You're trying to get paid on every number, which in theory sounds great. Guess what? We talked about it before with that prop section. It can be a suck of money, and you're better off just playing your boxes and doing what you were doing. But you got to be in a position to take advantage of it. If you're not going to put yourself in a position, that's what you need to focus on from the start, right? You can have your normal play that you're going to go in and play, whatever it may be. But at a certain point, you need to be able to flip that switch and really get either, I don't want to say aggressive, because some people press way too aggressively, but you need to be able to maybe step outside your comfort zone. That's why practicing that kind of stuff is important. But Craig, you've seen me have bets at these levels, and I've done it regularly to the point where, like, multiple black chips on a number, it doesn't phase me, whereas some people it does. Now, I'm not saying I get there a lot, but I'm ready to take advantage of it, and I am full steam ahead when I am taking advantage of it. And I think that has really come from that full press collect that I do a lot now, right? Where, like, before I was maybe a little bit more timid and was pulling more money back to the rack, and now I'll collect, full press, collect the next hit, full press. Because guess what? I'm collecting money. I don't need to worry about what's out on the felt. You can't have that FOMO of, oh, I left this much money on the felt. That's fine, right? Some people like to focus on that. Here's the problem with that. When you start focusing on that, then you start sitting here saying, well, if I would have done this, if we all had the hindsight to know what was going to happen, we would just hop the number that's about to roll and we'd all walk out of the casino millionaires.
Well, two things. And one, you brought up first the part about reflection. And it's like, here's the reality of it. Everyone at the table knows that the math hasn't changed. Well, almost everyone. The house edge is still the house edge. The dice still don't have a memory. Nothing is different, but it's how you're treating it when it happens on that hot roll. The other thing is, remember when we talked to Jen about how you think of bets when, if you have $100 on the 5 and 9, and then hot roll happens, and now you have $1,000 on the 5 and 9, like you're just adding a zero. So I was thinking about that, like your bet progression. You should already know your bet progressions when you go in, how you want to excel on a individual box number. I think what you need to decide is, and it's small scale. It could be small scale and it could be large scale when there's a hot roll. And that is, are you trying to bring money back to your rack to build your bankroll, maybe for future sessions, or are you really trying to go for it and you're going for that $5,000 goddamn chip? That $5,000 chip is coming in my rack and going home in my pocket. You have to decide that. And what's funny is that you don't have a lot of time. If you could be on a hot roll, but I guarantee you it's going to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know many hot rolls that are slow as molasses. Like the dealers are trying to pay fast because now they're paying out more money and they're paying out higher bets. So they're going to want to be on their game. And a lot of times you're going to get the pit boss helping out with calculations, helping out. No, this is what you owe him, pay him this, blah, 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 and get it out to them. So you have to decide. And maybe it's at that moment you have to decide, all right, do I want to collect more in my rack or do I want to really go for it and see if I can pull down a monstrous amount of cash to my rack because I've never done this before, or I've never I've never experienced something like this before. Again, we talk about you should practice with maybe the buy-in that you're going to use at the casino and practice that as a regular thing every day when you go to toss or when you go to uh, practice at the craps table, because you should be practicing every day. But occasionally, put yourself, and I don't think a lot of people do this, Chris, set yourself up on your craps table in the middle of a situation and then ask yourself, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. You put, let's say you put 600 in the front of your rack to realize, okay, that was my buy-in. And then in the back rack, you put in, let's say 1800 and plus. And you go ahead and put out random bets on the box numbers. Some are high, some are low. Maybe you have minimum one of the box numbers because it's just not, you pretend it's not rolling. But practice that situation of, what are you going to do? Are you going to bring it all down if the points hit? Are you going to try to go for it on one number? Are you going to go for that 420 and go right to 900 on the 8 or 6? You have to decide, am I going to go for it on the 4 and 10? It's already at 500. If I get it, it's going to hit 1,000. Should I just go to 1,000 or should I go to 1,500? Like, you should be practicing those scenarios as well as just practicing your toss. A lot of people practice their toss and don't do any betting on the table. I don't condone that at all. I mean, you could do it if you're trying to do a book. Yeah. If you're trying to do a book like Bone Tracker, don't put any bets on the table. It's a waste of time. You're trying to find out your toss and what dice sets work for you. But on a regular practice, like everyday practice where you're not using Bone Tracker, you already know your dice set, you just want to practice that, you should be betting at the same time you're tossing and practicing. And you should be practicing not just, what can I do with a $400 buy-in? What can I do with a $600 buy? What can I do with a $1,000 buy-in? You should be practicing scenarios for when there's a hot table. Why not? Why not? They don't happen often. And when they do, you don't want to be stuck there in hesitation town where you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do if the 8's been hit 5 times. Well, I know if the 8's been hit 5 times, I better have it up to 180 or 210 at that point. I'm going to have, I think we talked about it before. If it's a shooter, if it's somebody I don't know, Chris, it's 18, or I'm sorry, it's 30 on the 6-8. First hit, you win 35, drop $1, bring it down to 18, and then from there go to 42. If it's somebody I know, I'll start at 36 or 30, go right to 42, right to 90, collect, go to 180, go to 210, and just start that progression that I know I want to do. But I wouldn't have known that, Chris, if I hadn't practiced that at home first.
Yeah. The practice piece is super important, right? And I know we relate a lot of things to golf, and I'll make a golf analogy, but also make a basketball analogy for people who like basketball and stuff. But the golf analogy first, right? None of us are aiming for the bunkers, but you still got to practice hitting out of the bunkers. Right? I'm not actively seeking to hit it into the bunker 99% of the time. There's times where I have to bail out into a bunker, fine. But you're in the middle of the fairway. You're not expecting to hit it in the bunker, but guess what? It ends up there sometimes. You got to practice out of there. Same thing with basketball, right? Is it easy to just catch and shoot or shoot off a dribble? Sure. Guess what? There's defenders there. Sometimes you got to practice your fadeaways. Now, is it hard to practice a fadeaway with somebody who's not playing defense on you? Sure. But if you don't practice your fadeaway, you're not going to know how the hell to shoot a fadeaway or how you should set yourself up or things like that. I could think of probably a ton more different analogies for sports, but super, super key. You do have to practice being in different scenarios. And the main reason you have to do that, right, is you got to be comfortable when you get there, right? We're all comfortable on the come out roll when the shooter just gets the dice. Why? Because it happens on every shooter. We know what we're going to do, right? We may be comfortable 5 rolls in. Why? Because that's around the average. So a lot of rolls get there. But Are you comfortable when your 25 rolls in? Are you comfortable when your 35 rolls in? Or are you one of these nut jobs who are like unsure of themselves, screaming all over the place, more focused on how much noise they can make rather than how much money they can make or what bet can they make? And we talk a lot about discipline, right? And to me, with like the hot roll, one of the most important pieces of discipline is being able to stay disciplined when those chips are starting to pile up in your rack or pile up on the table. You have to be just as disciplined there as you are if you're just starting out your buy-in or you're just starting out on a shooter. You can't be disciplined and say, oh, I'm disciplined in the beginning, but then when the hot roll, all hell breaks loose. You can't do that. You have to be disciplined throughout. And doesn't mean you can't make large bets. It doesn't mean you can't take some swings every once in a while. But if you practice it, it'll help with the discipline and understanding what you need to do at that time or where you need to be or how you need to feel at that time. Because there's plenty of times there's great rolls and, you know, maybe people don't have the craps experience that a lot of others may have. And they've never been in a situation like that, right? Like, I can tell you, Craig, if I was on the table with the 108 roller, I've never been on a table that's had a roll like that, right? So it's uncharted waters for me as well. But the bet progressions aren't uncharted. The amounts of money on the table are not uncharted. Why? Because I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, I had this, this, and this. I should have pulled this down, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, it was the number that just hit, and I just pulled more than the bet that I have on the table back to the rack.
You're right. You know, a hot roll feels different. You know, and at some point you're like, okay, this is different and this feels special. And it's also where the table becomes like almost teammates. Like we're all cheering for each other. And, we don't know anybody's names. We don't know their jobs, their lifestyles. But at that moment, we're all, as Lou likes to say, the camaraderie at the table becomes something special, especially on a hot roll.
Yep.
If that point hits, like we all hug, like we just, survived a national disaster or something. But why does it feel good, Chris? Why do we love a hot roll? And I think it hits on 4 different things: reward, meaning, belonging, and suspension of disbelief from the math. We know that probability becomes like a lost thought at that point. But it's rare in adult life that you feel all 4 of these at the same time. And that's why people talk about legendary rolls for years. It's not because of the money per se, it's because of the emotional roller coaster they willingly strap themselves into. Um, you know, that's how we see it today anyway. But maybe the listeners, maybe the audience could tell us about a hot roll story that ruined their sense of reality, and send it to our email at fullofchipspodcast@gmail.com. Now you got to put it on the screen, or comment on the show below. I think that was a good topic. Hey, it took 46 episodes to talk about it because it's rare that it happens. So
It is. It is definitely rare, but again, something that definitely needs to be talked about and something that needs to be practiced for the folks at home.
But when you see that hot roll, you know that a lot of people are on the pass line.
Oh,
The pass line degenerates. I think we need to get into it. We call it the Passline Faithful. Those personalities you meet on the light side. They're a breed of their own, Chris. Today we're talking about the pass line, light side believers, the optimists, the people who treat the shooter like they're auditioning for the Olympics, I think.
yep.
They're the folks who walk up to the table already convinced the universe is on their side. They don't just bet the pass line, they identify as pass line. Like,
Yes.
I Craig at the table, I pass line. This is my space, don't crowd me. I think there's different personalities though that we see. What's a personality that you have seen before from a pass line shooter or a pass line player?
So I think the most common personality that you get from the pass line player is instantly associated with the math guy, right? They're the math guy. Why?
The purist.
Because pass line. Yeah, exactly. I literally called them, I have in my notes, the traditionalist. That's what I put down. Because that's what they are, right? They're the one who is like, the game was designed this way, so that's how we're going to play it, right? Or we're going to keep it simple and that's what we're going to do. No need to overcomplicate things, whatever it may be. Listen, if you want to play the pass line, you don't want to play the pass line, that's up to you. But more often than not, the pass line player is it's usually the one who's more focused on the math of things rather than, actually playing the game. Now, they are playing the game, but in a sense, they aren't playing the game because 9 times out of 10, those purists on the pass line are only playing a pass line with max odds. And yes, can it be beneficial? Sure. But how many times, Craig, have we seen a good roll that doesn't have a point hit or only has 1 point hit where, like, my pass line is not doing anything for me and my boxes are the ones that are paying me? But hey, it's the math, right? Those are the math guys, and they're the ones, that's where they like to sit, right? Like, remember in high school, you had your cliques, right? You had people who sat over here, you had people who sat over here. The math guys sit on the pass line and they don't leave it.
Yeah, well, they don't just leave it. You'll see oftentimes they go heavy odds, right? They'll go max odds, and their pass line isn't just minimum bet. Their pass line's like 50 to $100, and so what they do that so they can do 500 in odds or above. And they're with some tables, yeah, you have that 3, 4, 5 times odds. And you really would have to get up there to do a 4 and 10. You'd have to have a really good pass line, like $100 pass line to do, 3 times 300. But a lot of tables are 5 times all across the box numbers or 10 times all across the box numbers. So, doing a quarter, you can still go 10 times, 250 on the back, which is really nice. And when it hits, it's beautiful. But like you said, we've seen long rolls that people barely hit a point. But what are those pass line purists doing? They're calling for that number that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're missing out that the 5 has hit 7 times, but the point is 6, and they're like constantly yelling at the shooter, "Can't you throw a 6? Come on, can't you throw a 6?" Like are you reading the table? Like, you're missing out what's happening, dude. Like, you put all your stock in your, like, I would take those odds from your 6 on the pass line and move your odds to a 5 or 9 since it's hit 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yep. No, it's funny to me sometimes too, because like I feel like people who play the pass line are instantly viewed as like, oh, this guy's on my side. This guy,
Right.
yeah, he believes in me. He believes in me. First of all, if you need someone to believe in you at the craps table, you got a problem already. You should be believing in yourself, and that's it. Who gives a shit what anybody else thinks at the craps table? But instantly, right? And then my favorite part about that too is like, because I was playing at my local one day, and there was this guy who literally min bet on the pass line with like 2x odds, and that's all he played. And there was this gentleman next to me who was always high-fiving this guy. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he's literally got $30 out on the table on you. Meanwhile, the rest of us have box numbers pressed up. You got a ton of money, and this guy, oh, he's with me. He's with me. And then he's looking at other people like, why don't you have a pass line? Why don't you have a pass line? Gives a shit if I have a pass line bet or not. I have your point placed. If you, guess what? You hit your point, I'll be happy because I got money on it. All right. I don't have a pass line because I don't need a pass line because, as we've said on this podcast, I don't play the pass line that often. I play it when I'm shooting, and I play it if I have bonus bets and I need it there, whatever it may be. But I'm not I don't like contract bets. And I've said that before on the podcast, but it's uncanny to me how like they're instantly viewed as the team player. They're on your side, whatever it may be, because, they have that pass line bet. I don't understand that logic, but it is what it is.
Well, you talked about the traditionalists, and it's the same as the conservative come better. The light side accountant, the person who treats every come bet like a carefully negotiated contract. They're the only one at the table doing math. Everyone else is vibing. This person is calculating exposure. Like they're managing a hedge fund or something. It's like, well, technically I'm reducing my variance. Like, dude, we're in a casino. There is no variance. There's only chaos. Like the casino's loaning you money right now, and you're dialing it up, thinking that it's going to happen and that people are going to hit the point or hit your come bet, and you're reducing your exposure. Like, you're not. What's a come bet? It's another contract bet. We just said, if you don't like contract bet, don't play them. But these pass line light side players, they not only will play the pass line, but they'll play come bets too. And I don't know. I'm not a big comeback player. Almost each time I've played the comeback, it was only because I was hoping that a 7 would roll and that I would win my comeback, or an 11 would roll and I win my comeback. Like I wasn't really looking forward to travel. But, I don't know. I you also have the kind of pass line player who puts all their stock in max odds. I know that we talked about dealers who, kind of get on your case if you don't put any odds back there behind your pass line. And you're like, dude, shut up. Like, I don't need you to tell me not to, sometimes I don't want to put that, but you're making me make a pass line bet and making me just so I can shoot. But
Yep.
there are people, what's that guy's name? Is it in AC? I think his name's Dean. It's that old guy always plays on the hook who always has heavy, heavy odds on his pass line. And it's like, it's so odd because he wins so much playing. It's like every time he's on the table, points seem to be hit.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but he always has ridiculous odds on. I think he does $100 pass line bets.
Yep.
Just so he can do it's like 3, 4, 5, 500 times behind. And man, here you are, with your $15 pass line bet and your $20 odds on the back. If it's a 5 or 9, and here he is with his $400 in odds, and it's like, you know what? I'm winning cheese, and here he's like taking the house for dust bunnies over here. I don't know. There's always so many different personalities at the table, and I think I think the other one that we see, Chris, is the dice whisperer. The person who thinks the dice respond to quiet composure, emotional support. They set the dice like they're tucking in a newborn. Like they blow on them, they grip them, and it's like just toss, man. Like I
Yeah.
get it. You're trying to be delicate and easy with your pass line bet and your dice, and it's like when they 7 out, they're like, yeah, I felt the energy shift. Shit. Like
Did
like
you though? Like, or are you just saying
right,
that? Like,
right.
like, was there a gust of wind that came in that you were like, "Ooh, seven's coming" or something? Like,
But it's also like, thanks for telling everybody else.
yeah,
Like you could have given the heads up.
yep. You know what's funny? The one thing too that I find about especially pass line players, they are some of the most stubborn people on the table, and not because they don't know what they're doing, but more often than not, like again, it goes with the math mentality of like the I'm smarter than you, I'm smarter than the dice. And they are the last people to deviate off of like what they're doing. Now, I'm not saying deviating off the pass line is always a good thing, but like they're so dug in that they will burn an entire bankroll waiting for that point to be hit because they need it to hit. Whereas like other people are, doing other things, maybe shifting, maybe, you know, playing some other bets or whatever. Maybe like you mentioned, right? That guy in Atlantic City. I mean, it doesn't matter who the hell's shooting. It doesn't matter if he's been at the table for 3 hours. When this person's PSO'd every time, he don't care. It's $100 on the line, max odds behind it, and it's just every time. It's all they do. And I guess for one thing, it's good because it's just automatic. Like you know exactly what your bet is. But sometimes, the points they're not getting hit. And you're just sitting there and you're like, can somebody hit a point, please? Well, guess what? You're the only one who wants them to hit the point in theory, because we're all making money elsewhere. But you're sitting there and you just need that point to get hit.
I think we talked about we've talked before about arrogant people on the don't,
Mm-hmm.
but there are definitely arrogant people who play the pass line.
Oh yeah.
They're the ones who take the credit for you making the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't do shit. He's like, yeah,
I
but I had that.
believed in you.
I had a feeling, and I believed in you,
Yeah.
and I knew you could do it. You're like, thanks, Captain Obvious. I think I did it myself. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
it was my toss that got me that point there, pal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they want the credit for you hitting a point. It's like I don't give a shit. I didn't even know you had a bet out there, to be honest with you. Like, don't care. But no, they're the pass line faithful are always a interesting bunch. And I mean, I know for me, like I'm specifically talking about people who are mainly only playing the pass line, because they hold themselves like up here when they're only playing the pass line with odds as opposed to other people who are playing pass line, box numbers, whatever. But you find that, the tried and true pass line players are only playing the pass line. That's all they care about.
But you also seen plenty of new players around the table who always seem to play the pass line. And even if they don't know what they're doing, their friends are telling them, yeah, just put a bet here. And then
Yep.
once the point's established, put some odds in the back. And, then they start winning one. And then they win another point. And now it starts to get raucous at the table, and it starts to explode into cheers and stuff where, and granted, when somebody hits a point and a lot of people got a lot of invested in it, it is awesome. What I find is that I'm not always on the pass line because, like you, I don't like the contract bets.
Mm-hmm.
But I've started to practice this, and I haven't done it yet in the casino, but I've practiced it. And that's if I'm missing out and didn't put a pass line and like a point was made, like another point was made, and third time around for this guy to establish a point, I'll take what I would have put on the pass line and odds, and I'll put that on the box number.
Mm.
And it might wind up being a $90 6, right?
Yeah.
Or it might wind up being like a $150 9, because that's what I would have spent on the pass line with odds. And it's like, if they hit a point, I get to be part of the cheer too at the table. If it loses, it loses. But, more often than not, it's uncanny how some people make points at the table. And you're like, how the hell, like that toss was terrible. How the hell did that guy make that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dice are, every roll's independent. You never know what's going to happen, right? It's like John always says, the car crash. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Dice is the table.
Yeah.
Never
But
know.
we buy into it. We buy into
Oh,
it
yeah.
because we're gamblers.
All the time.
We're faithful craps players.
We are faithful, sometimes to our fate, but faithful craps players.
There are definitely some annoying things that we hear at the table, though.
A lot of time from pass line players.
Not just them, but maybe everybody.
From everybody.
But,
from everybody. Is it time, Craig, for our top 5?
I think it's time for our top 5.
All right, it is time for our top 5, and our top 5 today is the top 5 things only annoying people say at the craps table. Craig, I got to say this before we get into the top 5. I had so much fun reflecting on this because I'm not going to lie. When I was thinking about our top 5, I literally wrote down like 30 things, and I was like, I could have a top 30 on annoying things people say, but I did limit it to 5. But this is a great top 5 list. So, Craig, number 5.
I kind of went with phrases I've heard and then given a sarcastic response to it.
Okay.
My number 5 is, what's the point again? Like, said every fucking 5 minutes by the person who's been standing there since like Eisenhower administration. Like how do you know? Like, it's where the puck is, dipshit.
Yep.
God, I hear it all the fucking time.
All the time. All the time. All right. My number 5 is the dice are due. The guy who has his crystal ball sitting in his rack saying what's going to be coming. Guess what? You don't know, and we don't know what's coming. So stop saying what's coming. And don't sit there, because I've been on a table with a guy who's done this, where he just keeps saying 4-2-6, 4-2-6, and 30 rolls later, a 4-2-6 comes, and he goes, see, I've been calling for it. I'm like, yeah, for the past 29 rolls, you've called for it, brother. But, like, it hasn't come. Now you finally said it. I could name every dice combination before every single roll. Guess what? I'll be right 100% of the time.
Chris, you know how we talk about you should know where you're going with bet progressions?
Mm-hmm.
So we can't stand my number 4, which is, hold on, let me think. Like, no thinking. This is craps. This is how tables die. Like, your hesitation is causing us all money, and you need to know where the fuck you want to go. I know dealers get angry when, especially we know at Harrah's, the dealers get upset when you don't know where the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to know, and you need to practice it, how you want to bet progress. Chris, you'll never hear a dealer say that to Chris and I. We know exactly where we're going, and I hate that.
Yep.
Look, I was like that 4 years ago when I started. I was like, maybe I want to, like, no, I need to know faster. What do you want to do, dude?
Yeah. Yep. So true. So true. My number 4 annoying thing people say is this shooter just can't lose. And it's usually followed 5 seconds later by a 7 out. People people just sit there and this guy can't lose. This guy can't lose. Craig, as soon as I hear that, my bets go off. I'm like, oh, I already know what's coming. Like, I've been around the table enough to know what's coming next. So guess what? Dealer, turn those bets off because this shooter can certainly lose, but I will not lose on him because I'm going to turn my bets off.
You know how I don't know if you're old enough to remember. You're not old enough to remember it. You don't know what the fuck AOL is, do you?
I do know what AOL is. All right.
Barely? Okay.
I know
All
what
right.
I used to have an AOL account back in
Okay,
the day.
but
when I
but
was
I'm
a
talking about
youngin'.
the pain. I'm talking about the pain of logging on with AOL and
I guess
the
not.
whole.
I typed in my username, and my password. I was there.
There was a lot of buffering back then. Okay, so this goes into my number 3. Okay, dealer, can you move that? No, not that one. The other bet. Like, specify what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you're standing there and the dealer's like that was my AOL reference, like buffering, like I don't, like, what am I doing? I'm losing my energy just hearing you try to think. Like, know what the hell you want to do because you're embarrassing yourself in front of the table.
100%. 100%. My number 3 is I only lose when I don't follow my system, or I never lose when I play this way. Yeah. Good story. Heard that one before. Can't wait to watch you play this session because guess what? Probably going to be a losing session.
There you go. All right. My number 2. Oh, I was just about to bet that. Congratulations, Nostradamus, on your imaginary winnings.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You didn't bet it at all.
Yep. I love that one. You might hear that one from me. My number 2 is, oh yeah, man, I was up about $2,000 earlier. Meanwhile, they're going to their wallet for more money. Like, yeah, that's great, dude. You were up. What the hell happened?
Seriously. All right. Your number 4. You must have known what I was happening because my number 1 is, don't worry, I'm hot. I can feel it. Sir, you 7'd out 3 times in a row, and the only thing that's hot is our frustration from all your PSOs.
Yep. Mm-hmm. My number 1 is I just knew that was coming. I was gonna bet that guy. I was gonna do that. Guess what? Why didn't you do it? If you knew it was coming, why didn't you do it? Because you don't know shit. It kind of goes back to my other one where, dice are due for something. They're sitting there with their little crystal ball. But nothing, Craig, nothing annoys me more at the tables in terms of chat at the table than when somebody says, oh, I knew that was coming. Like, you don't know anything. Stop it. And I was going to bet that. Then why didn't you do it? Like, don't tell me about what you were going to do. I don't care.
It's annoying. It's
so annoying. And, like, it's funny because, like, the people at home, if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see I'm a little animated right now. I'm literally getting annoyed thinking about it.
Degen you can see the smoke coming from Degen's ears.
Yeah, Degen's like getting heated over here just talking about it. Like, that is the quickest way to annoy me at a table, and that's why it's the number 1 annoying thing is to sit there with the I knew that was coming, or I was gonna do that because I knew it was coming. Like, yeah.
But I have been at the table where, like you said earlier, where somebody 17 rolls later, I told you that was gonna roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told us 17 rolls ago it was gonna do that. Like, you Mr. Predicted tomorrow? Like, what?
Yeah. And they never fail to remind you, too, that, oh, I said that. I said that. Yeah, we all heard you say it 30 times, 30 minutes ago. We all heard you say it. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm not deaf. I can hear. Your crystal ball might be a little bit flawed because you were talking about it a while ago and it's coming now. Oh, I can predict the future. Yeah. Guess what? I got a future prediction for you. This guy's going to throw a 7 eventually.
I think they're using the magic 8 ball, Chris. Outlook not so good.
Outlook not so good is right. Oh man, what a great top 5. It's funny just thinking about it. I was telling you, I got a little heated after that one, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll calm back down, I guess. Could also be the Irish coffee talking. Who knows?
Could be.
Could be. Very well, probably is, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, see, you still got some left. I, unfortunately, have finished mine.
I think we both know we always finish them halfway through. What they're seeing is the rest of the soda we have on standby.
There you go. Seeing the rest of that crisp Diet Coke.
Fuck off. Oh my God.
You should. I'm gonna make sure I say that to you at the tables next time, so that you can put that when we do. We'll do another. Quotes people will say at the craps table, and you can put that as your number 1. When Degen called the Diet Coke crisp.
Look, next time we're in AC, I'm gonna ask for a waitress for a crisp Coke. Crispy.
There you
Coke.
go. She's gonna bring you one. She's gonna bring you a nice.
She doesn't know what I'm talking
Diet
about.
Coke.
I'm gonna FaceTime my wife right then and there and say, "See, nobody knows what the hell that is."
That'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Well, Craig, great top 5, and on to our tip of the episode. What is our tip of the episode today?
Our tip of the episode is don't start pressing like you're trying to impress the entire casino floor. When the table heats up, light side players suddenly act like every hit demands a dramatic press move. But the payouts don't change just because the vibe is good. The 6 and 8 still return 7-6, okay? And the house edge stays exactly where it's always been. Have a simple press plan, follow it, and stop turning every roll into a personal performance review.
Yes. Yes. And don't follow it up when you make a good press and say, I knew it was coming. Side tip. Don't do that. But what you should do is, if you have any questions or comments, or you have something you want to see, or you want to give us some feedback, email FullofChipsPodcast@gmail.com. Full-length episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Short-form content, which is coming back. Yes, it's coming back. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and don't forget about the Patreon down below. Link is there. Go join. Craig, take us out on episode 46.
And that's where we'll leave it. Another day, another table full of adults losing their minds over cubes. Just remember, the math doesn't care, the dice don't listen, and the universe is not sending you financial advice through a 25 roller. But the chaos and the camaraderie and the cult level cheering, that's why we keep coming back. Stay sharp, stay lucky, and stay unapologetically full of chips.
On the